yesterday, Tory Lanez dropped the album. He dropped the interview from prison, man. And he's trying his best to get out. We know that he didn't take the stand and he didn't testify on his behalf, and he was ultimately sentenced to 10 years. And he's been trying everything that he could possibly do to get out of jail. And I thought that he should have took a stand and should have testified on his behalf because, man, he's been poked up in jail. He has all kinds of stuff, man. And I don't know if this interview is going to help him or hurt him, but he's doing everything. And to me, it looks like he's going to end up having to serve at least 6 or 7 years of that prison sentence, and then they're going to deport him back to Canada, man. And like I said, when I look at the evidence, it don't look like to me he was fully guilty, but it don't matter. No, they don't care about that, right? He went to court, he got found guilty, and now he's sitting in jail. But this is what he was saying.
Never been violent towards a woman. I would never hit a woman, let alone shoot a woman.
Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson, spoke to NBC News from California Men's Colony, a prison where he's 3 years into a 10-year sentence after being found guilty on 3 felony counts, including assault with a semi-automatic firearm.
There is definitely a very big misconception about me that seems to the public as I'm this monster. And I feel like I was catapulted into this poster child for the unprotection of Black women. And it's just so unlike me. And I've never really had a chance to express that. But you can look at my criminal record. I don't have one. I never had one. And I feel like, that connotation that I would do anything of this monstrous proportion is completely incorrect and it's wrong.
Lanez declined to testify during his 2022 trial. Do you regret not taking the stand?
I think if I would have taken the stand, the verdict would have definitely been very different.
The rapper's legal team filed an appeal, which was denied in November. But his team is continuing to fight, with plans to file multiple appeals next week, this time with the California Supreme Court, in one claiming newly discovered evidence that they weren't provided during Lanez's 2022 trial.
So he had his first appeal, and he claimed that they had new evidence, and they went to present it, but it was basically the same evidence. And a lot of that stuff got denied and pushed out. So now he's trying to push it up to the Supreme Court that they claiming that they got new evidence, right? And like I said, he's desperately trying to get out. What's fun? Let me rephrase that because it's not funny. It's not funny, but a lot of these rappers like to play gangster. They put all this stuff in their music. Did y'all hear how he was talking just now? All like his posture and the way he's sitting up. He looks like an urban nerd now. Right, he's talking like an urban nerd. He's banging that W man and let him out of prison. Right now, I'm not dealing with whether he's guilty or not guilty, but look at his behavior now. Like, it took you to go through here for you to act right and behave, man. Listen. So he's doing these interviews. He's trying his best to stay relevant and keep his name out there. And he said that he felt like he was the poster child for women's rights and the bad things that happen to women. Right, but let's look off into what the Breakfast Club was reporting before in his last appeal.
All right, so Tory Lanez this week was denied the appeal that he put in. So he was basically trying to have his conviction overturned. He has been completing a sentence of 10 years in prison following the 2020 shooting of Meg Thee Stallion, for which he was convicted for in 2022. Now, he appealed this for many different reasons. Some to mention, he claimed that his right to testify was unfairly stopped for several reasons, including he had said that his attorneys at the time told him that song lyrics and other damaging evidence could be used against him in cross-examination, and worried about that. He also said that the court messed up he alleged that the court messed up in his trial because they allowed prosecutors to play that recording of the interview that Meg Thee Stallion's former best friend Kelsey Harris did when she sat down with police and she told them that Tory shot Meg, but then remember she came into court and said she didn't recall any of that. Now the judges, so this was a 3-judge panel that made this decision. The judges basically said they don't agree with any of his arguments and that they're going to uphold this conviction. They mentioned also too, remember when he was, claiming that his former attorney Sean Hawley had done a bunch of wrong things, including allegedly not allowing him to testify. The judges say that they read an email from Sean Hawley that said that she basically had told Tory Lanez and the other attorneys on the team that she wasn't comfortable with them trying to pin the shooting on Harris, who was Meg Thee Stallion's former best friend, because of some of the evidence and things that she had saw. So she backed off the case, and a judge said that they feel like she did nothing wrong by backing off of the case and deciding that that strategy wasn't right. They also say that there was nothing wrong with the court at the time allowing the jury to hear Kelsey's interview with the police, because at that time when she was subpoenaed and she came in, she was given immunity, which is why she kept claiming she didn't remember anything that happened. So the recording was admissible in court, and they were allowed to play it at that point because there were some inconsistent statements that needed to be cleared up. So yeah, he'll have to complete his sentence.
So that's what in the case, since he's been found guilty with the Breakfast Club and TMZ and everything was reporting about this case. He really didn't have anything new that would have been so conclusive that they would have overturned the case, right? Or threw the case out. So now he's telling the Supreme Court that they have this new information that's this damning new information that's going to turn things around, because, and I hope so. I've seen some of the videos. I posted videos where she talked about stepping in glass and, some of the things that she said when she was being interviewed by police. It didn't sound like a woman that had just got pow in the foot. It didn't, right? So, and listen, like I said, he's been sitting there for 3 years. He don't look like a dude that's made for jail anyway. It's just, he's just having to adapt to it. I don't think that he did it, but in this new case, they're talking like this.
Including hundreds of pages of medical records for Megan Thee Stallion, whose real name is Megan Pete, which they allege raise questions about the fragments removed from her foot after surgery. His team argues that the fragments were not provided ahead of trial and that this was a violation of due process.
And we didn't have that chance. Or perhaps we could have questioned the doctors differently when they were on stand to impeach them, because it does look suspicious.
But in the appeal denied in November, the court did address the fragments, ruling that the surgeon's testimony was, quote, more than sufficient to prove great bodily injury on Pete. Proving something like this on appeal is tough.
This is a really, really difficult appellate argument for defendants to prove, because they have to show if the evidence actually came into court, the jury would have found differently. It's an uphill battle, and it's something that often torpedoes any defense appellate argument.
The Los Angeles District Attorney's Office and representatives for Megan Thee Stallion have not responded to NBC News' request for comment.
I believe not only that I was wrongfully convicted, but the amount of new evidence that has emerged since that trial, I think, has been overwhelming.
So they, in the appellate process, they said that they didn't address the fragments that went into her feet. But when they go through the appellate process, it says that they did address it, and it was damning, and it wasn't something that they felt like that they could overturn. So now in this new, in this new paperwork that he's filing now, it has to be something that's damning, because like the lady said, this is going to be very difficult to prove. You must have some people working behind the scenes that uncovers something that we haven't heard, something that you uncovered that we don't know about. Because if not, he's going to be in there, right? So I think that he has a strategic plan. It's been more than 3 years. It's been 3 years now since he's been incarcerated, and he's trying to get out. And I don't think that he would be going through all this work like this far if he didn't feel like he had something. He's pulling out all the stops to try to get out.
What has life been like in prison for the last couple of years?
Truthfully, I've done my best to keep my head above water, but mentally, I've gone through trauma that I sometimes even struggle with, because I never imagined myself dealing with things that I would have to deal with. I've been stabbed 17 times. Almost lost my life.
If you could say something to Megan Thee Stallion today, what would it be?
I think that I wouldn't say something directly to her. I'd like that moment to happen in person. We've both gone through a lot. There's this connotation that, like, I share this hatred for her, but I don't. I genuinely passed that. I'm at a place of healing in my life. I'm at a place of taking accountability for the things that I did wrong. And when I talk about my case, I don't want it to be taken as me.
So the woman asked him a setup question, like, if you could talk to Megan now, what would you say to her? Like, what kind of question is that? I mean, are we serious? Like, come on, man. Like, I wouldn't say anything to her. That's what he should have said. I wouldn't say anything. I would, I would just focus. I'm just focused on my healing, on what I need to do for me. I'm trying to become the best version of myself. I had a lot of time to reflect, and the times that I've been sitting here in this prison cell, and make some life changes and better choices where I won't end up like, in here anymore, right? So, but the answer to that question, what would you say to Megan, knowing that he got in trouble before for writing things or sending out tweets and texts and all that kind of stuff? No, I wouldn't say anything. So then they say he's going to ask Gavin Newsom for a pardon. Gavin Newsom ain't giving you no pardon. He sits there and listens to Megan Thee Stallion songs, man. Like, this whole thing is goofy.
And with that, Chloe Malas joins us now on set. So, Chloe, Tory Lanez is also seeking a pardon from Governor Gavin Newsom?
That's right. His legal team has filed the necessary paperwork, and it is before the governor now. So they're seeking either a pardon where his criminal record will be wiped clean, he would be released from prison, or to have his sentence commuted, meaning that the time he has served is sufficient, and release him, but that doesn't change his criminal record. As for when this could happen, the governor typically does these twice a year, so this could happen before the new year.
So let me know in the comment section, do you think Tory Lanez deserves to be set free? Do you think that the Supreme Court should look at this case and see that there was discrepancies within this case and he should be released? What do you guys think, right? I saw the videos. In my opinion, I think so. I think that there's a lot of discrepancies here. There was a lot of things that was done wrong. And I think that he is being used as a poster child in today's time for women's rights and things like that. I don't think that he's guilty at all of this. But I think that he should have, like what he did today, he did more talking than he ever did. Because now I don't think that he took everything serious, and I don't think that he really believed that he was going to jail. If he was going to jail for that long. So he got the shock of his life. And they gave him 10 years, right? And I think they put him under like the gang file or something. Like, they really hammered it to him, right? With no grease. But let me know what y'all think, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to Street Media TV. Leave your comments in the comment section. Remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.